All right, for the last panel of the last session of the morning session of FTX'21 Day 2, we have a keynote address by Mr. Amitabh Kant, the CEO of NITI Aayog. Now, as you all know, the NITI Aayog serves as the apex public policy think tank of the government of India. And Mr. Kant is here with us at FTX to talk about India's growth story and the role of startups in that very story. So, it's a very exciting session. All right, guys, I'm looking forward to it. I'll hand it over to Mr. Kant. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to address you here today at FTX 2021. The fintech space has never been more exciting, and India has been establishing itself on the global stage as a vibrant fintech hub. We've been able to reach where we are today because of a systematic approach, with government playing a key role as a facilitator and undertaking the enabling role. The foundation of this growth story can be traced back to India's larger Digital India initiative. The first requirement that had to be addressed was that of a digital identity system with a built in authentication mechanism. With the development of the Aadhaar stack or India stack, we had the first building block of the fintech ecosystem. Consequently, we ended up building one of the largest and the most innovative identification programs in the world. Aadhaar has received global recognition and presently has more than 1.317 billion registered users. After taking the first challenge, the emphasis shifted on the digital infrastructure layer for peer to peer transfer of money. This took the shape of the Unified Payment Interface, and the National Payment Corporation of India was established to oversee its functioning. Through UPI, we have created one of the largest growing digital platforms, one of the largest growing digital payment platforms in the world. In the month of November 2021, 4.18 billion transactions worth more than 100 billion were processed through the UPI. We adopted a collaborative approach for UPI, which has allowed the private sector to build apps on top of the underlying digital infrastructure to provide payment services. This has allowed a whole ecosystem of payment startups to flourish. With payments problems solved, the fintech ecosystem could shift focus towards lending. In the lending segment, there has been emphasis on both consumer as well as MSME based lending. Fintech has allowed innovation in the space, allowing for new models to come up, such as flow based lending. Having achieved sufficient comfort with payment and lending, there's now greater attention that is directed towards personal finance and money management. A plethora of entities have come up recently in this space. With wider acceptance of financial wealth management products, the ecosystem is also able to tackle some of the more traditional financial products which are more complex, capital intensive, and have a longer innovation cycle. Initially, aggregator startups emerged which helped other retailers. Now, the new insurance tech companies are manufacturing as well as distributing products covering the end to end life cycle of origination, underwriting, claims, and selection. Some other traditional areas, such as digital gold, is also picking up. Various companies have been able to build a dematerialized layer that shifts the possession of gold from people's houses to credible physical lockers on top of which lending products can be developed. Legacy financial institution has always tried to solve for everyone, with the solutions primarily being focused on select high revenue customers. The fintech ecosystem has upended this traditional approach, with more customized products being made available for different groups, paving the way for emerging neobanks. Neobanks have come up focused on millennials or gig economy workers. Many of them, such as Epify, Jupiter, FamPay, a neobank for students and others. This approach can potentially ensure that a wider customer base is better served. As fintech providers have successfully diversified and established themselves into a whole range of subsegments, including payments, lending, wealth technology, personal finance management, insurance technology, regulation technology, we envision a whole new realm of possibility opening up for the ecosystem. There are 2,100 plus fintech companies in India, out of which more than 67% have been set up in the last 5 years. The fintech industry has a cumulative funding of over 27.6 billion and is expected to be valued at over 150 billion by 2025. The role of the government is going to be key, not from the regulatory standpoint, but also to work on ensuring that critical enabling support is provided, whether it is broadband infrastructure to enhance internet access in rural areas or digital literacy and financial programs which can allow a greater number of citizens to access and benefit from fintech products. India already is a global talent hub. Now, with our responsive policies and the dynamic entrepreneurial ecosystem, we have a clear shot at cementing our position in the global landscape. Through our regulatory sandboxes and an agile and responsive approach to policies, we are not only creating space for innovation, but we are also exploring new ways to solve old problems in partnership with startups and the private sector. Whether it is championing financial inclusion or whether it is enhancing access to credit for the Indian MSMEs, there are many areas of interventions which need attention. I encourage the entrepreneurs in attendance to identify and pick up at least one additional problem that you can address, either through an existing solution or a new one. Solving for India's challenges could potentially open up other markets where similar development challenges exist. Collaboratively, we can approach and address some of these larger challenges, and which can have a profound impact on the socio-economic fabric of India. In the coming decades, as the fintech industry grows, it will also serve as a catalyst for India to leapfrog into a completely new future. With all good wishes, I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Kant. And now it's the end of the first half, so it is time for lunch. Remember, you can share your experiences with the hashtag FTX'21 and stand a chance to win your very own startup company. No? Okay, well, then something just as good, I promise you. Take this time to let the mentoring sessions sink in and marinate. And while you're doing that, we have a band performing for you. They smashed it last year, so please do stick around, join us for lunch, and join me right now in welcoming on stage Dark Light, everyone.